By dawn, the teams were just below the southeast ridge at 27,600 feet. It had been 5 weeks since they first arrived at base camp. Each team was its own small world. The clients were paying their way, and the professional guides like Rob and Scott promised access to a dream.
I felt like a part of something great. I really think that to do something with people for a common purpose is a wonderful thing, and to help people to achieve their dreams is something that caught me as well. So much emotion and experiences and demands of you happen in such a short space of time, 6 weeks of intensive living. I never thought I'd ever do this in my life.
I think everybody has a place in themselves that mountains can fill. Mountains carry great respect with people around the world, so it doesn't surprise me at all that many people use mountains to find this. That's what I did myself.
I'd spent most of my adult life in profound depression. And I John Wayne'd it so that I never let anybody know about it. And I discovered that if you drove your body hard, when you did that, you couldn't think. And that the lack of thinking as you punished your body and drove yourself was amazingly pleasant.
Other people, when their life is at a difficult spot, turn to drugs or drink or credit cards. I go to the mountains. That's always worked for me.
As long as I or human beings believe that by doing something, the world is going to change. By doing this, I'm going to be more happy. By doing that, I'm going to be more successful. By doing this, people are going to love me more. Then I think there'll be this fantastic drive behind it.
Now that we could see the summit, you're just pulled in. You've gone so far up the mountain. You've come so far from home, and you spent 6 months preparing for this goal. There's no way you're going to turn around unless things are really going south.
They'd been climbing hard since midnight. It's vital to get to the summit and back to Camp 4 before nightfall.
I felt very comfortable with the situation. We were inside of our turnaround time. The weather's still good. There were certainly some delays that were unexpected, but that's how climbing is.
And by the time that I get up to the balcony, I realized that I pretty much was out of the game. My right eye was not really usable because it was blurred over, and my left eye wasn't good enough yet that I felt comfortable going forward. And so when I told Rob this, he volunteered to send me down with a couple of Sherpa. And I just climbed all night to get to this place. I didn't want to go. He said, Beck, I want you to promise me that you're going to stay here till I come back. And I said, Rob, cross my heart, hope to die. I'm sticking. And it never, ever crossed my mind that he'd never come back.
Beck had a problem, and it was too bad. I didn't even think that much about that because, a lot of things happen, and Could have been me, could have been anybody, but it was sort of like tough break and see you later.
Upon arriving at the South Summit, there were a few people there, and there seemed to be some confusion about ropes and who was going first, and were we using old fixed lines, or did we have enough new line to string across the traverse to the Hillary Step?
Anatole and I tied into the rope together and trekked off towards the Hillary Step over this very beautiful, very delicate knife-edge ridge. And there was a steady enough wind that it would take the rope between us and hold it out in this big arc. It would hold itself out for maybe 10 or even 15 seconds at a time and then drop down, and like a sail it would bulge out again.
It was definitely not a place that you wanted to fall. You had a rope to sort of guide you that was probably staked in pretty well, but the snow wasn't that great for holding stakes. And the fact that when you sunk your ice axe into the snow, you could look through the hole as you pulled it out and see Tibet, and over here you could see Nepal. So you wanted to be very careful about staying right on the border, so to speak. People were stacking up behind us like crazy, and I was feeling lucky to be one of the first people across.
Lots and lots of people were so slow getting up the Hillary Step, and you sort of had to wait your turn in line before you could climb that piece of rock face. And losing 1 hour just more or less standing still on a mountain, that is really the stupidest thing you can do, because speed is the same as safety.
I looked at my watch and I had a sick feeling inside of myself. This is the way I was feeling. I was feeling sick at that point because I knew it was impossible to get there by the 1 p.m. turnaround time.
And I thought, if I keep going now, I'll be out of oxygen, get to the summit, but I'll be coming back down to the South Col in the dark and without oxygen and more tired than I am now. The risks were escalating.
My heart was beating so hard, I felt like it was going to jump right out of my chest. I almost shaking as I was struggling inside of myself with, what am I going to do? Am I going to keep going because I'm so close, or am I going to turn around?
At that stage, Rob came up past me, and I said to him, Rob, I'm going down. And I could even see behind his oxygen mask, he was visibly disappointed, probably for me, because he loved to get people to achieve their goal of getting to the top. But he said, it's your call, pal. Didn't say mate like an Australian. It's your call, pal. I'll see you back at the South Col. And that was the last time I saw Rob alive.